Welcome to Half a Point, the podcast that saw Collingwood win against Carlton. Half a point three goes to Collingwood. All of them have gone to Collingwood so far. The highlight of round six, but this week is our round seven best picks episode. We should be giving our five best picks against the spread. To help you break it down, I am joined by my co-host Carlton superfan Cuss. Mate, how are you feeling?
Yeah, mate, big week for Carlton. Always in the news. I feel like every week this year we've been in the news, but this week a little bit extra. But it's all right. We'll move past it, mate.
That's right. Let's move on to round seven. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. We're also active on TikTok, on X, on Instagram. So give us a follow on those. And also a reminder to please gamble responsibly. All right, Cass. Let's jump into round six. We need to we need we need to step up our game. We've been
Yeah.
getting we've been getting slaughtered. But it's all right. We'll jump into all that game by game. But starting off, of course, with the half a point three grand final. Carlton 83, Collingwood 88. Could have been a draw, kick after the siren. Looking at this game, you can break it down in a second, but I feel like Carlton deserved the cover.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like they had control pretty much majority of that game. It's just like we see every game. There's like a 4 or 5 minute patch where they just can't get their hands on the ball. We saw what Nick Dacos did. He absolutely shredded us apart in that midfield contest, especially in that last quarter. And then yeah, all the pressure on the first. Well, I think it's his first year of playing footy. Um, and yeah, all the pressure on him. He missed, but that's okay. That's footy. But yeah, definitely deserved the cover, and yeah, glad they got there in the end.
That's right. I think we deserved it. Geelong Western Bulldogs, probably one of my favorite picks. I had a couple of bad ones this week. This is one of my favorite picks, like of the year, and they just completely laid an egg. Like I know they had a lot of injuries, but even if like none of those players got injured, there's no world where they were covering this game. Just a bad read, I guess. Fair enough to this Geelong side. They end up covering the first game at GMHBA. So, yeah, again, not going to overreact too much and get, but it was just, I think, yeah, Western Bulldogs just laid an egg. Geelong just played that ground so well. So fair enough to them. Sydney Giants didn't get the cover. I feel like the Giants deserved the cover there. They had like what 18 behinds, I think. Like, man, like it's really frustrating. A couple of these games where the team we were on like just couldn't convert in front of goal, and then yeah, especially when you're a dog, that really just kills you. So as we say that's like sort of week to week variance. So yeah, that one I feel like was the right play, just didn't go our way. Gold Coast Essendon, almost an upset there.
Yeah, what a contest! It was actually a pretty entertaining game when you have a look at the whole take a step back and have a look at it. Lots of lead changes. I was on Gold Coast for this game. Pretty bad read on my end. I don't know. Essendon just brought another level of pressure that we just haven't really seen from them this year. But yeah, right on Essendon. I'm getting the cover there.
Yeah, so we're probably always
Um,
going to cover, but the game was probably a little bit closer than what it should have been. Again, Gold Coast kicked a lot of
yeah.
behinds.
Mm.
Hawthorn put Adelaide. I thought I said had Hawthorn for the survivor. Man, what a sweat that was! Like that catching like laying 40 at home against this Port Adelaide side who couldn't beat St Kilda at home. Yeah, it got really close in the end. I think Port played really well after that first quarter. They moved the ball like with like good control. We kind of like how the Saints when the Saints are going well. It's kind of like how they do it. Yeah, but uncontested marks and just chipping the ball down the field. It looked really good. So yeah, Hawthorn get away with it. But yeah, was your point and the points, no sweat for you. Adelaide St Kilda was another thriller.
Yeah, another 1 point game. We saw St Kilda take an early lead, but then Adelaide just an onslaught of goals, and that really helped them just maintain that lead. Not well because they only won by 1 point, but yeah, I guess pretty good on St Kilda to cover the line there. Didn't see it coming, but yeah, pretty good effort. With North Melbourne and Richmond, I was on Richmond for this game. It
And
was not good. A terrible start from Richmond as well, just missing everything. Like so many missed opportunities. I think like 2 goals, 12 by halftime. You're never going to cover if that's how you're scoring. So yeah, I guess if you're on North Melbourne, well done. But I think it's still, I wouldn't say unlucky. I'm not going to say that Richmond were going to cover if they were a bit more accurate. But yeah, I think would have been a lot more chance. Would have
It was
got
closer
him
than
with
the
a bit more
score suggested.
confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Melbourne and Brisbane. What another just another blockbuster game here, this one. This was so fun to watch. Just I feel like it was just like back and forth goals most of the game. We saw Melbourne get like 4 or 5 goals in a row as well. So yeah, for Melbourne to cover that game, pretty good. And they get the upset as well, which is massive. Obviously Lions away from home, not looking too good apparently. But yeah.
Yeah, Brisbane probably should have won that game, but yeah, Melbourne. I think Melbourne in the points which you were on. I think that was always going to cover. West Coast Fremantle, and West Coast just couldn't convert in front of goal. Another stacker behind. So again, I'd probably say West Coast probably should cover this game if they've had 100 times. So yeah, again, like when it rains, it pours. Like it just doesn't. Sometimes you just have those weeks, so it just doesn't go your way. But yeah, Fremantle end up covering. They're 3-0 at Optus now. Fremantle against the spread as massive favorites in all of them. Um, so I go 1-4 again. So 12 and 18 ATS, you're 2 and 3, 10 and 20 ATS. This is as bad as it gets for us. But we're not going to react. As I say every week, we're not going to react. We're just going to keep sticking to the principles. The luck is going to turn maybe a couple we weren't meant to cover, we end up covering. But yeah, as you say, like the process has been sound for years and years and years. So we're not going to go away from it. Yeah, off to a slow start, plenty of ball left to go. It does come a point that we have to give out some winners, man, or else it's gonna be like around 18, and I'm gonna be like 33 and 55. Sorry, 33 and
Yeah.
57, and be like, well, we're not gonna overreact. But yeah,
Yeah, we
I
don't want
think,
that.
yeah, that's right. I think the luck will turn one way or another. So let's turn around. Let's give out some winners. Let's jump into round seven here. Starting off with the Western Bulldogs versus Sydney Thursday night game at Marvel. Last time I played, Sydney were 8.5 point dogs at home. West Bulldogs ended up winning by 9. I was on Sydney that game, absolutely brutal, lost by half a point. Um, this time around, Western Bulldogs are 33.5 point dogs. Where are you going with this one?
I feel like the market react. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like they've reacted to the Bulldogs game last week. They Bulldogs still a pretty good team this year. So is Sydney, but I just feel like catching over 5 goals here against the Sydney team away from home. Um, everything in me wants me to jump on Bulldogs here. So give me the Western Bulldogs plus 33.5. I think they should cover this pretty comfortably. And yeah, definitely it just has to be a bounce back week from last week. I don't know what they did last week, but yeah, they're definitely not going to show up with that kind of performance again.
Yeah, I would have been disappointed if you wanted the Bulldogs. Yeah, yeah. Give me the Western Bulldogs plus 33.5. Yeah. Exact same sentiment. Overreaction. I think not just a loss. Obviously, it's all the injuries as well. Obviously Darcy, I think Lob's a question, O'Donnell, I think Bond's a question as well, and Liba as well. So all the potential that's well, four of them ruled out. Maybe Bont as well. Maybe Lob might play. But yeah, that's in terms of the Bulldogs backline now, like who we're talking about, like Boslinger, I guess. Which is pretty grim. It was grim as it was, but yeah, the Sydney side's flying. And so if you're on Sydney, that's fair enough. Like I went back to 2024 when this happened every week in 2024 as well, where I kept fading the Sydney side because I thought the market hadn't caught up. But I think they covered like 9 or 10 in a row, and it was just brutal every week for me. Like it'd just be the perfect spot to fade them, and then they'd just cover. But yeah, I feel like that's an outlier. I think the Sydney team, I think they've covered every single game, if I'm not mistaken, which is insane. But yeah, now, as you said, yes, there are a lot of injuries. Yes, they later completed egg last week, but I think it's a massive overreaction. 33 and a half, 33 is so many points. I think they can win this game. Like, and as I say all the time, like once a team goes through like this a bunch of injuries for at least a week or two, the rest of the team, everyone else just sort of steps up a little bit and covers for the next week or two. So we saw that with the Giants in opening round against Hawthorn, where they had a bunch of injuries. The line ballooned up to 14 and a half, and they ended up winning outright. So yeah, I think they can muddy this game up. I think coaching wise, yeah, just have to make this like a low scoring slog, protect the corridor, get your mids back, and find a way to win like 86 to 7 or like 76 to 66 or something like that. It's not how the Bulldogs play traditionally, like in previous years, but maybe this year it's a little bit different. But yeah, Give me Western Bulldogs and the points. Moving on to Richmond versus Melbourne Friday night game at the MCG. Last time we played, Melbourne were 24.5 point favorites. Ended up winning by 20. I'm getting PTSD. This is a terrible episode so far. I'm getting PTSD deluxe. After Melbourne that game, they're up by like 40, and then with like 2 minutes to go, and then Richmond kicked like 3 goals in the last couple of minutes to cover. It was absolutely brutal. Anyway, this time around, Richmond are 38.5 point dogs. Stay away from me. Both teams on a 5 day break. This Richmond team have looked so bad. But I just don't think they're that bad, as bad as what people perceive. Melbourne again as favorites. Remember they lost to Essendon a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it feels like a lot of points for Melbourne to be laying. But yeah, this Richmond team hasn't been really good the last sort of month and a bit. So yeah, no play for me. I'd lean Richmond there at this number. What do you think?
Yeah, stay away from me as well. I was leaning towards Melbourne a bit, but I just got to fade them after the massive win last week. And yeah, I feel like they're just an unpredictable team at the moment. Richmond they're just not in form at the moment. So yeah, I think plenty of reasons to stay away from this game. So if I had to pick a team, I'd probably go Melbourne, but yeah, no
Yeah,
confidence
fair.
there.
Richmond's super banged up still as well. Moving on to Hawthorn versus Gold Coast Saturday afternoon game at Utah's. Last time they played Gold Coast were 9.5 point favorites. Ended up winning by 8. Another brutal one. I think we took 6.5, but it was 9.5 in the contest, and we lost that one. Oh my God, like just PTSD deluxe. Anyway, Hawthorn are 7.5 point favorites. We go on this one.
Stay away from me. I don't really have a read on this. I feel like every game that I've put a pick on that was at UTAS, I've just gotten wrong. So, just, just gonna stay away from the that stadium. But what about you, man?
Yeah, as you say, I think Hawthorn are and I think they're 10-0 at UTAS, at least in their last 10. But I don't care. Give me Gold Coast plus 7.5, and give me Gold Coast to win outright here. One of my favorite picks on the board here. Um, it's a scary one because how good Hawthorn is at UTAS. But I guess a lot of their games against like the North Melbournes, and I think there was one against Port Adelaide last year. So, and there was one against Adelaide last year. If you remember, you were in Adelaide plus 2.5. They lost by 3. But Adelaide dominated that game. They really should have won. So I don't know, some sort of voodoo going on at UTAS, I guess. But yeah, the Gold Coast side, I'm going to trust them one more time. I was on against Sydney a couple of weeks ago and it disappointed me, but I said I wasn't going to jump off. But this is the real test for them. I feel like they're going to be they're my minor premiership pick, so this is a game they sort of need to win. So yeah, this Hawthorn side, a couple outs as well with Sicily and Moore going out via suspension. I don't know, maybe could they be looking ahead to round to the next round day where they have Collingwood? Maybe. But yeah, obviously this is a pretty big game in the context of the season as well. Um, I feel like this Gold Coast side can dominate them in the middle, in the midfield with uh Hawthorn's midfield versus the Suns midfield. But as we say, like the reason I'm playing this is Gold Coast as these road dogs against good sides that have not been good historically. I feel like that's going to flip this season. Didn't work out the first time it happened against Sydney. I feel like I'm going to give them another chance. So yeah, give me the Suns and the points here. Moving on to Essendon versus Collingwood, Anzac Day clash, Saturday afternoon game at the MCG. Another point for the AFL. I think like usually Anzac Day game is on Anzac Day, right? So it could be like a Wednesday, for example, and then like they have like a brutal like scheduling spot. Like this is on a Saturday, which is like a normal footy day, but then Collingwood are still going on 5 day break the next week, which is like on the one year we have it on a normal day. Give us like anyway. So last time we played, Collingwood were 24.5 point favorites, ended up winning by 41. This time around, Essendon 17.5 point dogs. Stay away from me. I was on Essendon all week, but I don't know. It feels a bit chalky if I'm being honest. Like I feel like everyone's going to be in Essendon here and the points. I do still lean Essendon because, as I said last week, this Collingwood team cannot win by margin. We can't score. So even last week, like Carlton dominated us for 3 quarters and then 1 quarter of dominance, but that's pretty much it. So like in the last 8 quarters, we haven't been able to score for 7 of them, which is not a small sample size, I guess. But yeah, the Essendon side, they're coming off 3 good performances in a row, or 3 or 4 good performances in a row if you want to count the Western Bulldogs one as well. Um, and yeah, I feel like we're reaching the heights of the market with them. Could they just lay an egg? Like at the end of the day, they're still Essendon. What is this line a couple months ago? Probably in the 30s, right? Yeah, I was wanting to be an Essendon, but I felt like it was a bit chalky, so I'm going to stay away, but still be an Essendon. What do you think?
Yeah, some good points. I think Collingwood, they're definitely like I feel like they've sort of reached the peak of their market at the moment. And Essendon's just playing pretty good footy at
Collingwood
the moment.
or Essendon?
Uh, Essendon, sorry, Essendon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they've reached the peak of their market. And I sort of want to fade them, but I just feel like they're coming in with like all this young confidence, and it's sort of nice to see. I like the way that they're playing footy, just going about it. So give me Essendon here plus 17 and a half. I feel like Anzac Clash, it wasn't really close last year, but they usually do put up a good contest for it. So yeah, hopefully they can just keep it close. And yeah, like you said, Collingwood do struggle to score. Um, so hopefully that plays into our favour.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Like Collingwood could dominate the game, but not get enough points to cover this line. So,
Mm.
but be enough to get the win. So fair enough. Moving on to Port Adelaide versus Geelong Saturday afternoon game or Saturday night game at the Adelaide Oval. Last time we played, Geelong were 48.5 point favourites, ended up blowing them out by 88. This time around, Port Adelaide are 26.5 point dogs. Where are you going with this one?
Give me Port Adelaide plus 26 and a half. Squeeze this one in. Not my most confident pick. But yeah, I think Port Adelaide, they did play some decent footy last week. Or I'd say, pretty unlucky not to get the win there at the end. And yeah, I feel like Geelong, they just put everything out there last week. They absolutely demolished the Dogs, and I feel like everything just went perfect for them. And it's not often that happens. So sort of fading the Cats on this one, more than like I rate Port Adelaide. But yeah, I think Port Adelaide should get the cover here pretty easily. How about you?
Yeah, give me Port Adelaide plus 26.5 here. Same sort similar reason as you. Like, you want to fade this Geelong side after their performance last week. Can't really buy any buy, I guess, on this Geelong side. And this Port Adelaide side, as I said when I was talking about the Hawthorn game, like the way they played, it looked a little bit sustainable. It wasn't like a crazy it wasn't like a good spot for them, in any sense. Like they just played well. And when it's sort of like that, then I sort of give them more credence. Like it was like if it was like a great spot for them, like an emotional spot for them, then it's like, oh, maybe they're just riding the emotion. But this just looked like oh, maybe they've got a little bit of their game plan together. They're still really young. A couple of players should not be playing AFL, but I don't know. Fading this alongside after the last couple of weeks has been pretty scary. I think I've been fading them 2 weeks in a row. Hasn't been going well for me, but um, yeah, I think as you said, I think they can keep this close. Might throw a little bit on the money line as well, just in case. Moving on to Fremantle versus Carlton. Saturday night game at Optus. Last time they played Fremantle were 32.5 point favorites, ended up winning by 27. This time around, Fremantle are 37.5 point favorites. Stay away from me. I wanted to be on Fremantle, but it's ballooned up to 37 now. So it's a little bit too many, few too many points here. I think with this Fremantle side, as I said before, they're 3-0 at Optus as big favorites. So um, that continue? I think that's very plausible. This Carlton side's been playing well, obviously, except for the last quarters. But this feels like a pretty bad spot for them going on the road. A lot of off-field issues as well this week around. So um, yeah, I feel like with this Carlton side, they've been going to these flyers. Like, what would happen if they don't get off to a flyer and they just get blown out, for example, in the first quarter? They could end up losing by 100, right? So that was sort of my reasoning here. So I wanted to be in Fremantle, but it's just too many points at 37.5. And if it comes down to 32 or 33, I'm happy to go with 3-0. But yeah, stay away from the contest. What do you think?
Yeah, sort of just reading trends of like how Carlton play. We know they can get off to a really good first half. And looking at the line that Fremantle's at 37 and a half, they were about 40, low 40s for against West Coast. And I don't think we're 6, 7 points worse than
But
better
that's
than
at
West Coast. I feel like,
but that's at West Coast though. Like it's a road game for you. It's not
yeah,
technically a yeah. So it's probably
I
you guys are probably like
I
13
guess,
points
but
better than West Coast.
yeah, but I feel like we're a bit better than what this line says.
Yeah. Fair.
We do have a pretty good history of playing close games against Freo as well as low scoring games. So that can play into our favor, but we do know that Freo can score some goals very quickly. Especially as of the past few weeks, they've been playing some really good footy. As you said, 3-0 as favourites, but yeah, just gotta hope that the wind changes a little bit and fade them a little bit. Hope the market has caught up. Maybe not, but yeah, I'm jumping on Carlton here, plus 37.5.
Wow, I think that's a gutsy pick. I guess it's fair enough. It's a pretty big number, but yeah, I'd leave Fremantle there. Moving on to St Kilda versus West Coast, Sunday afternoon game at Marvel. Last time they played West Coast were 19.5 point dogs. A good one. PTSD's sort of changing now. Here we go. That's a good one where we called it. We called the West Coast win last year. They ended up winning by 28. This time around, St Kilda are 39.5 point favorites. Where are you going with this one?
Give me West Coast plus 39.5. I think, yeah, they've been playing some pretty shocking footy that they haven't been covering as well as we'd like. So, um, like before, I hope the wind changes here a little bit for them. And I think, St Kilda as a favorite, a big favorite as well, 39.5 is massive, almost 7 goals. I'm hoping that, you know, the trend continues and they can't cover as favorites. So yeah, give me West Coast here. What about you?
Yeah, stay away from me. I really did want to be on West Coast. I was deliberating last night between this and and another game. But yeah, stay away from the contest. As we say all the time, St Kilda do not cover as favourites. But they are at home here, so it won't be the most shocking thing. Yeah, and this West Coast side, I feel like they played better than what they showed last week, and even the week before against Geelong. I think they were pretty good. So yeah, we'll definitely lean West Coast here. Um, the St Kilda side, they're playing pretty good footy. Like they've put up decent scores a couple of times this season, which is not what we used to see. Like, we usually see them like play down to their competition. But yeah, laying 40 points, it feels like a lot, doesn't it? But yeah, gonna be a stay away for me. But I lean West Coast like you as well. Fair enough. Moving on to Brisbane versus Adelaide Sunday afternoon game at the Gabba. Last time they played, Adelaide were 8.5 point favorites, ended up winning by 5. Brisbane really should have won that game. Um, this time around, Brisbane are 20.5 point favorites. Give me Adelaide plus 20.5 here. Um, yeah, as we say all the time, you want to fade Brisbane at the Gabba as favourites. And this Brisbane side, I feel like they're sort of sleepwalking through this season. This is a bit of a scary one. Like, this is the one I was tossing up between this or West Coast, but both road dogs. But as we say, like Adelaide coming off 3 games at the Adelaide Oval where they were kind of disappointing in all of them. When we consider the spread. But now going on the road, I think they can keep this close. I feel like the public's going to be on Brisbane as a bounce back after they lost last week. But as we see all the time, like these big favorites are like laying like these random 20 point spreads. Against another decent side in Adelaide, it doesn't typically go their way. It's not like this automatic bounce back spot after a loss. So this Brisbane side, you can even see with the attitude, like they're like, yeah, who cares? Like, it's just a random game, which it is, and fair enough for them. They'll play well in the back half of the season. I just feel like they're still sleepwalking through the season. So yeah, give me Adelaide and the points. It's a little bit of a scary one, but yeah, kind of just have to sort of take a deep breath and go with that play there. Moving on to the Giants versus North Melbourne Sunday afternoon game at Manuka. Last time they played. Oh, sorry, to ask you about. Are you from Brisbane, Adelaide?
Well, I'm staying
My
away from
bad.
that game,
My
so
bad, dude.
no,
I was
you're
like,
good.
it's not making sense here. Yeah, go on.
No, I'm staying stay away from me. I just can't. Yeah, I'm struggling to sort of read this Brisbane and Adelaide team. So, if there's two teams I'm struggling to read, then it's just complete stay away from me. But yeah, I like your reasoning though.
My bad. Yeah, fair enough. I'm completely frazzled. Like, Carson just finished work. I'm just about to go to work. So yeah, bit going on here at Half Point headquarters, but it's all right. We'll get it together soon. Moving on to the Giants versus North Melbourne now. Saturday afternoon game at Manuka. Last time I played, the Giants were 50.5 point favorites. Ended up winning by 54. I think we were opposites that game. It was when I was on my crazy streak and I got pretty lucky with that one. This time around, the Giants are 15.5 point favorites. We're going this one.
Another stay away for me. I don't know, I feel like I don't trust this line much. I feel like GWS are a lot better than 15.5 points. versus this North Melbourne side, but like we just haven't seen them deliver the right like the footy that they should be. And then North Melbourne are just somehow finding a way to just fly. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but yeah, they had a pretty big win last week. I did not see them scoring over 100 points at all, but found a way. So yeah, put a bit of respect on their name, I guess. But yeah, I'm staying away from this one.
Give me the Giants minus 15 and a half here. It feels so trappy, doesn't it? Like, what is this
Yeah.
number? 15 and a half points versus North Melbourne side. I feel like I might be falling into a massive trap here, but I need to squeeze in a favorite, and this is the one. Yeah, I do feel like this North Melbourne side might be a little bit of a public dog. I feel like the public might be all over this North Melbourne side, trying to predict an upset or something. So, a bit of a fade on the public, but also this Giant side, I feel like also last week they kicked really bad against goal. So maybe this number, if they kicked well, what is this number? Maybe it's in the 20s. So I feel like it's a pretty good number. And yeah, with this North Melbourne side coming off a massive win, I feel like covering against a bad team it does mean something. So I have upgraded this North Melbourne side a little bit in my head at least. But yeah, I feel like it's a bad spot for them now going on the road. Sunday sort of night game, bit of a seed spot. Feels like they could get blown out here. And this Giants side is a little bit desperate now. I feel like North Melbourne have overachieved to this point and the Giants have underachieved significantly. So I feel like this is a desperate game for this Giants side. For like they really need a win here. I feel like they can put on, and of course, when the tsunami starts, it can't really be stopped. Um, with Manuka, like I think they play 3 games there every year. I think that there was that random game versus Port Adelaide last year where it was like super low scoring and ugly. But yeah, if you're looking at the total here, it's still in the 170s or 180s. So um, not expecting it to be particularly low scoring game in any sense. So I don't mind going with the favorite there. Of course, if the total's lower, you want to be on the dog because once more valuable, right? So yeah, going to go with the Giants here. I don't love it, but yeah, I'm going to play some outlines here just in case it's a blowout. All right, so that's picks for round 7. Run us through your 5 casts.
Yep, I've got Bulldogs at plus 33.5, Essendon plus 17.5, Port Adelaide plus 26.5, Carlton plus 37.5, and West Coast plus 39.5. So five dogs here.
5 dogs. Give me Western Bulldogs plus 33 and a half, Gold Coast plus 7.5, and to win outright. Port Adelaide plus 26 and a half, Adelaide plus 20 and a half, and the Giants minus 15 and a half. So, after our rough start, I'm like, okay, let me just go back to the numbers here. It always, if you're not sure where to go, just go back to the numbers. Algorithms are always better than your intuition, every day of the week. So yeah, um, Bulldogs and a favorite for me, which has been working historically for us. All right, Survivor. I think who did you go with last week? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
You were on Frio. I think you were on Frio last week. Who would you go with
Okay.
for this week?
Um, probably St Kilda. I don't think I've gone with St Kilda.
Well, you did, buddy, in round 1.
Oh, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, we saw how that turned out. Knocked out
Yeah.
straight away. Okay. If it's not that, oh, geez, I don't know. I need more time to think about this. I'd
All right, I'll go. I'll go.
say,
I'll go. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with St Kilda. I hate this one. Like this is like one of the scarier ones. Like we had Carlton in round 1 for me. So yeah, as we said, you lost with St Kilda. So I'm hoping it's a redemption. I'm hoping it's a little bit of a meaningful one for the Half a Point podcast where it's like a things turn now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
who would you go with?
Melbourne. I'll go Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yep, that's fair. Yep, that would be my other one as well. That's fair enough. All right. Oh, that's the team that beat St Kilda. Oh, that's funny. All right. So, um, final thoughts before we wrap up here, class.
Um, we just need to turn a corner here, mate. We're in the trenches, but we'll get there.
That's right, mate. Let's just 3 and 2 our way out of this hole. Yeah. As a reminder, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. And until next week, bye.